edition of All Web SD. And today I'm joined by Coach Mikey, certified personal trainer out of San Diego. And in this discussion, we talk about the value of stepping away from your desk for a few minutes and some of the services he provides for integrating a healthy routine into your daily life. Coach Mikey, welcome. How are you?
Hey, Mark. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, looking forward to chatting with you, and I've been thinking about it, and yeah, excited to share.
Absolutely. And there's a lot to think about because for those of you that are curious, the backstory is quickly this. I've been in Coach Mikey's LinkedIn network for a while, and he posts some amazing stuff for people to just get out there and get after it. To be mindful and to be clear, he is a San Diego resident and a personal trainer out of San Diego, which is why I thought, yeah, Coach Mikey is definitely somebody that I got to bring in and just get out there and talk about health and wellness in some way, shape, or form, especially for people like me inside of my community that sit behind a desk all day, sometimes all night because of the way COVID has worked and work from home situations and things of that nature. The sedentary lifestyle tends to be real these days. True? So I think the first thing to consider is who is Coach Mikey? Who are you, Coach Mikey?
Coach Mikey. Well, Coach Mikey is also known as Michael, and I'm originally from the Midwest, but I have lived in San Diego actually more than half of my life now. Um, Someone who I'm definitely passionate about health and fitness, being active, and really that when I think about it, it started from childhood, in organized sports. I think my first sport was baseball when I was in second grade, and so since then it seemed like I was always participating in a sport. I played sports all through school, up to high school. I played football. When I was in high school, I really wanted to play football in college, and I had a couple of small offers for some small scholarship offers. But I wanted to be in California more. Um, I ended up coming out here. That's another story. But ultimately, like I said, I've been active all my life, even after school. I always try to stay healthy in the gym, working out. There were definitely periods, like in my 20s when I was in school. You go through your phases and party and all that stuff, where I got away from a healthier lifestyle, but definitely got back into it in my early 30s, and that's really kind of where it kicked into another level. I sort of kind of changed some things in my lifestyle, stopped drinking and things like that, and I just started really focusing more on just overall wellness, kind of feeling good. I really didn't have any specific targeted goals in the beginning when I started to get back into shape, other than just feeling better, getting moving, and all of that stuff. And um, it's ultimately led me to this point where I'm at as a personal trainer. But in between that, there's a few things that have happened that have also sort of served as springboards, you know, into
Oh, absolutely.
this particular spot where I'm at right now in my career. But again, in summary, just I'm someone who's definitely passionate and enthusiastic just about overall feeling good, uh, about about yourself, being healthy, not just physically, but, mentally as well. Finding, uh, as we, get older or get into, life, maybe career, whatever it might be, things happen in life, that get thrown at us. So,
Absolutely.
um, your, your wellness, which includes, your peace of mind, is something that, takes work, like your physical health as well. You have to work on that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm passionate about, that I work and try to connect with my clients on. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's sort of kind of who I am a little bit, and what I do, but definitely looking forward to sharing more of that, and answering more questions in that regard.
Oh yeah, and I've definitely got a couple here for you, and it goes back to the fact that it goes beyond feeling just physically healthy, right? It's mentally and emotionally being there as well, which
Sure.
is what having an active lifestyle, in whatever definition you want to call it, that's the way it is. It helps. And to my community and to the people that I talk to on a daily basis in my inner circle, you know, things like COVID have really taken its toll in a different way. Work from home is a very nice luxury, and I appreciate it. To be full disclosure here, is that I have the ability right now to work from home because of the current situation on hand. There's a trade-off to that, obviously. You don't know when to escape, because your professional environment is now inside of your home environment, and sometimes people don't know when to end. And I'm one of those too. I don't know when to end sometimes, and that can lead to burnout, unhealthy attributes or behaviors, things of that nature, and where I could just have a sick and poor attitude, right, alongside physical ailments as well if I don't pay attention. Again, it goes back to that. Like when I visit LinkedIn.com and I see that your feeds are coming through, I'm like, wow, this guy's really he's basically lighting a fire under you kind of mentality, and I like that. And more specifically, Coach Mikey, I need to understand, what is MikeyOFit? You could tell me in a nutshell.
Well, MikeyOFit is my own brand of personal training. Um, I officially started my own brand last September. And
Awesome.
yeah, so prior to that, I was part owner of a gym for 10 years and worked in gyms for a few years prior to that as well. So my brand of training includes, as you know, and as you mentioned, I'm a certified personal trainer. But before that, um, my specialty or forte, I guess you could say, is boxing training. I've been teaching and instructing people in boxing for about 18 years. So I started boxing when I was 11 years old. It was another sport that I got into. My dad got me into it, and it's something that I'd always loved and had an affinity for. Unfortunately, the area where I grew up, there wasn't a lot of opportunity to compete and to box, so I didn't get those opportunities. But it was always a sport that I loved and followed. My dad built me a gym in my house, so I was always messing around. Fast forward into college, I joined a gym, and started taking some classes, started getting back into shape. And one day during a class, the instructor didn't show up, so the owner of the gym came into class and said, "Hey, class, sorry, but our instructor didn't show up. Hey, Michael, you want to try teaching a boxing class?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" So I taught the class that day. The class liked it. The owner asked, everybody how it went. Everybody liked it. They gave me like eight classes. So that's kind of how I fell into being an instructor and a trainer in boxing. And from there, it just kind of came because I had, the experience and things like that, was familiar. But coaching too is something that I think that I obviously have a strength in. So it just kind of came natural, and I went from there and just kind of try to just develop my knowledge and just become a better trainer, and that led into other things. You learn obviously more and more about fitness, the other areas of fitness, health and wellness, and all of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, I'm totally agreeing with you on your statements right now. Let me guess. Favorite boxer, Iron Mike.
he's one of my favorite boxers. It's really hard to choose one for me because there's sort of probably a handful. Miguel Cotto is someone who I was always really a big fan of, and
That's
I
a
fought,
heavy hand. Yeah.
and I went to a few of his fights actually. But yeah, definitely Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, Julio Cesar Chavez, Roberto Duran, a few of those guys. Um, Getting back to your original question about MikeyOFit, so it really, what that encompasses, my personal training brand is, that's kind of what I bring to, I guess, the masses. I'm sure there's definitely a lot of boxing coaches out there. There's a lot of personal trainers out there. You don't see often certified personal trainers that are also boxing trainers, that are also like real boxing trainers that know it from the gym, that grew up competing. That you don't see that all too often. So that's something that I have, that again, that you're not going to see a whole lot, but an element that I bring in as far as the formal training on the fitness side. So I blend the two, a little bit of the two at times. Of course, it all depends on my clients and what their goals are. Not all my clients that I have, not all of them box. Some of them do. Some of them do just straight fitness, and that we're focused on maybe losing some weight, building some muscle and things like that. So my brand encompasses some of those things, and definitely I'm always trying exploring other modes of training that are effective, efficient, and that are fun, because people want to have fun too when they're exercising, because it's not always everyone's favorite thing to do. So you gotta enjoy it. You gotta try to make it fun. So that's definitely what I try to do. Music. Side note, music is a really big part of my life. Obviously, a lot of us are big fans of music. I grew up with a lot of music in the house. I DJ for fun, collect music and stuff. So that's always been something that people associate with me, I think, is, good music, or when you're around me, if you're in my class, I'm bumping, just some good energy, good music and stuff. A lot of people ask me, especially when I owned a gym, a lot of people ask me for my playlists all the time and things like that. So I knew, that I had a good ear, for that stuff, and that people like that. So you can always expect that when you're hanging with me or you're training with me, or you might be bobbing your head. You're gonna have a good time.
Oh yeah. Let me ask you a personal question then, if you will. Let's just say Coach Mikey, he's as human as anybody. Sometimes he's just not feeling it, but he knows he's got to get after it, right?
Okay.
Right? What is that one song that lights that fire, that lights the gas in you? What's that one track that we all should listen, that turns us into the monster that we should be?
There's a song. Gosh, there's a lot of them too. That's a hard one. But there's a song by Freeway. He's a rapper from Philly, and it's called "What We Do." It's probably an early 2000s song, but that song always gets me pretty hyped up and
Okay.
ready to roll. But check that out, Freeway, "What We Do." That's a good
Okay.
song.
There you go. That's speaking from the other side of Coach Mikey, his DJ musically inclined side. So we get to know you a little bit better, and that's what it's all about here on All Web SD. So thank you very much for that. You kind of already went into what makes your fitness programs different, so I'm going to move forward a little bit and take stock on something else. Knowing you just a tiny bit in your bio, you were an IT recruiter as part of your career and as part of your life, yes?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've definitely talked to audiences like me. I'm a web developer by trade. That's what I do for a living. And I suspect you've talked to other software engineers as well, and other walks of life within the technical realm. Yes?
Oh, absolutely. I spent, like you said, 15 years in the recruiting space, staffing and recruiting. Half of that was on the agency side, and the last half was on the corporate internal side. So I've worked with a lot and talked to a lot of thousands of tech people. I've hired a lot of tech people. Where the last company that I worked for, one of the largest employers in San Diego, I built out their IT enterprise organization. When I left there, I had 60% of the people that were on the team out of the 330 were there because of me, because I recruited those people and placed them there. So it's something that I really had a passion for and still do, but things happened and I transitioned over to fitness. But absolutely, I have, a soft spot for that world, for the tech world, whether it be, IT support or, development, engineering, what have you. It's all good. And I enjoyed so much talking and having conversations with people like you, just because I just found it interesting what everybody did, and I learned so much in all the conversations that I had, about technology and not just that, but met some really cool people and found some really cool, just really great, great people, and it feels good when you're able to partner, the right person with the right opportunity. And in some people, you can change their life, because it could be an opportunity for a new college grad that, they're going to get some great experience that's going to catapult them into, another role and take them to another level of their career because of where they started, or, what have you. So, and it's, someone, maybe has been struggling to find work, and they just happen to be the right temperament, the right person for the role, and you made that marriage happen, and you helped someone that was possibly struggling, or maybe had loss of confidence, or whatever it might be, and you found them the right position, and you found the right person, the right leader, whatever it might be. So that was always really fulfilling, But yeah, I definitely appreciate that whole technology space,
Absolutely. So that you've spoken to hundreds, maybe thousands of people along the way in 15 plus years of IT recruiting. So without even knowing the full details of the job role or the person or anything like that, that it's a desk job. And desk jobs in itself can be very taxing. Having that sedentary life, sitting down hours on end without paying attention, and then realizing, oh man, the world just blew right by. And next thing you know, you got to go to sleep and wake up and do it again, kind of mentality. So I guess more so from Coach Mikey, I want to get to his heart right now and speak heart to heart on behalf of those people, which is basically me. What are some tips you have for us that work behind a desk 40 plus hours per week?
Mm-hmm. Well, just for anybody, but especially folks in that type of situation, is that I think, we all have a tendency to take that for granted, that we might work in a comfortable space, awesome job. A lot of times I found myself, I had an office too, and there were days where I'm in the office all day. My point is that when we sit, a lot throughout the day, that impacts our body, that impacts our movement. And a lot of us don't realize that most of us have muscle imbalances, overworking and underworking muscles for whatever reasons. Everybody is different, right? But it's important to, if you can, to recognize or understand what those are, but also just to move, to get up and move. That's really important, especially if you're sitting all day. And the way that you're sitting will impact and affect your body and your movement. If you're slouching, if you're leaning back in your chair, legs all extended, if you're not quote unquote ergonomically correct, that is going to impact your body. Maybe down the line you start having lower back problems, and you have no idea why. Because I don't work out. It's not like I'm squatting this, that, or the other. I didn't pick up anything heavy, or it might be just from repetitive, behavior, a repetitive sitting, position, or whatever it might be, So people don't always realize those kinds of things. And as you get, someone like me, or, trainers, we get to understand and learn about that kind of stuff. You realize how important, our movement and mobility is. And, training, that's an area that I focus on, and a lot of the trainers do as well. But for me specifically, when you train with me, I take you through what is called just a little mobility. It's a expansion really on stretching. It's sort of a functional mobility routine to get you prepared for movement. But that's something that, that's important for people to do, especially if you're not moving around a lot during the day. And also, as we age, or as we, our bodies, we wear and tear, we gotta do maintenance. Otherwise you will have those, consistent, persistent aches and pains in your lower back, knees, neck, all that stuff. There's stuff that you can do that's preventative, with mobility movement. That's not, you're not exerting all kinds of energy. It's really it's just good to move around, get your muscles moving, and sort of stretching and twisting and turning and bending, and just so you can, get up off the couch comfortably, or get up out of bed comfortably, or sit in your
Oh yeah.
chair comfortably. You know what I mean? A lot of people develop like sciatica, you know, either from lack of movement, or it could be from the way that they're sitting, you know, and they don't understand that. So it's important just to really to remember to stay active, or to get active if you're not if you're sitting all day and you're really not doing anything else. You know what I mean? And staying active, and by staying active, I don't mean, going out and getting a gym membership and working out 7 days a week. You know what I'm saying? A good, a good workout can be, 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes,
Yeah.
or, up to an hour, and 3 to 4 times a week, or whatever it might be, whatever your goals are. But if it's just overall, just general health and wellness, then yeah, I definitely strongly recommend, people just getting up and moving, learning a little bit about mobility, at least, so you can stay functional. You know what I mean? In your movement, that's really important.
Thanks for that, and I hope everyone was listening to that. It's really, again, Coach Mikey isn't saying go get a gym membership right now and do something you don't want to do. He's saying being mindful of movement and just functional mobility, if you will. Don't take for granted how the human body was designed, and don't try to impede it, right? You
Right.
know? Yeah. So, okay. So before we go, last question.
Mhm.
And this is, I want everyone to read in between the lines when I make this question. I'm encouraging a lot of the audience from the San Diego Tech Hub community to check you out. But real world is real world, expectations versus reality, if you will. And you know what? Let's just say someone that's listening over the phone right now or over the ear can't afford you at this time. Maybe they're out of work, or they're struggling financially, which is a real use case, a real world case right now. A lot of you see it out there in the real world. But then again, I keep saying this: I want people to go your way eventually. So for those in sitting in that boat right now, those that can't afford you at this time, what could they do in the interim before consulting with you in the
Um,
short time?
Sure. There's so many resources out there for exercise, especially out there, on the internet, YouTube, things like that. But me specifically, one of the things that I try to do on my social media platforms, specifically like Instagram, is I'll share workouts that you can do on your own with limited equipment. I did different circuits, different type of circuits, or different type of, combos of exercises for you to do, at home or outside. If you have, with or without equipment, if you've got some light dumbbells, or some, pull-up bands, or whatever it might be. I try to vary it, so that, anybody can do it. You don't have to be, a super athlete, to do my workouts and things like that, the kind of stuff that I'm having my classes do, or training with my clients. So, if you follow me, that's one of the things that you can do is just, make note and save, bookmark, different type of workouts that I'm sharing with you. A lot of times, especially when I'm training clients, I'll post videos of them and the type of movements and exercises that I'm having them do. And keep in mind that these are people at all, levels of fitness. Some of them, have got some weight to shed, so they can't be jumping, a foot in the air. So I might have them do this type of exercise, low impact, or whatever. But the point is that, when you're following someone like myself, you can see that and you can emulate that. And if you have questions about a movement or whatever, something I posted, feel free to reach out and ask me. I'm not going to charge you. I'm going to say, hey, yeah, you know, I'm here to help. You know what I mean? I'm here to help you.
Absolutely.
And if I can be a resource or point you in a direction, I'm not gonna do that. You know what I mean? There's there's so many good trainers out there, so many knowledgeable people out there that are great at what they do. I like to think that I'm one of them, and if I have something that I can share with someone, that can help them improve or better themselves, or help them reach a goal, I'm going to do that. So yeah, it's all about helping people, providing a service, and just doing what you can. You know what I mean?
And I appreciate that, Coach Mikey. And I hope the San Diego Tech Hub community and all of the ancillary communities that stumble onto my audio can enjoy some of this too, and take some of things you've said here today into consideration. So for those of you sitting behind the desk all day, like me, think about some of the things that Coach Mikey here has said. And if you are in San Diego and you'd like to get a little more consultation, a little more encouragement, a little more fire in your active lifestyle, or we need to incorporate an active lifestyle, consider Coach Mikey for the job. So before we go, my friend, this is the chance. Any which way we could check you out. You obviously said social media is one of your platforms. So website, social media, email, things that they can get a hold of you quickly. What are they?
Absolutely. My website is www.MikeyOFit.com. My main platform where you'll find me mostly posting a lot of my content is Instagram. So you can find me at Coach Mikey O. Yeah. And I've got a YouTube page as well. Same thing, Coach Mikey O. I share my content on my Facebook page. Same thing, Coach Mikey O. Pretty straightforward. So any one of those, but again, the main one, Instagram. You go to my Instagram page, you'll find my email as well. You can direct message me. I'm usually pretty easy to get a hold of. So definitely reach out. I'm happy to meet, connect, and chat with everybody, man.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Coach Mikey. Everyone here out there, take stock on what he just said. And if you're curious, if your back aches, if you just need to shake it off from the keyboard, yeah, go for it. What's up?
I was gonna say one last thing. Sorry, and you may, if I'm skipping ahead, forgive me. But I wanted to mention also that a boot camp class that I teach.
Yeah, go for it.
You mentioned other things that I do as well, but that's one of the things that I offer to the public is I do run a boot camp class on Saturday and Sunday right now. I live in the PB area, so it's in Crown Point, Mission Bay area, and it's Saturday, Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Anybody's welcome, and anybody that's listening in or has found out about it through this particular podcast, you're welcome to come to class, try it for free on me, see what you think, see if you like my training, and then we go from there,
There you go. Crown Point, 9 a.m. Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, it's called Boot Camp by the Bay with me, Coach Mikey O. Again, follow me on Instagram, and I'm posting every week about the class, confirming the class and just reminding everybody. So, yeah.
Perfect. Cool. Well, there you go. Check it out. Free session, and say allwebsd.com sent you, and go head first into the program that he puts you through, and tell me how it is. Let's see how much fire he can put under your belly. So that's really what it's all about. Coach Mikey, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to talk to me and to everyone else inside of the San Diego Tech Hub community. Let's stay in touch. Let's see how this evolves. And I wish more power to you, man. And thank you for supporting this podcast. Thank you for doing what you do for a living and promoting health and wellness in the way that you feel is best. And yeah, maybe everyone can practice their jabs and their hooks too. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm happy to show you, man. I really appreciate you, Mark, reaching out. I really appreciate your time and on all your listeners. And I thank you so much. Really grateful. Have a great week and, come see me, man.
Absolutely. Crown Point, 9 a.m. Saturdays, Sundays. I will have to check you out when this whole COVID thing starts to settle a little bit, and we'll get it going. So I hope to see some of my community members there as well. All right. Thank you, everyone, and aloha.